Hello, hello, hello. We will be getting started shortly. Thank you so much for joining us for our monthly State of the Melanin address. Make sure let's get in here. Let's get these glowers up. Thank you so much, Kenny Conjo, for stopping in on your bike ride. We will make sure that we will visit the fourth quarter talk at 3 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. We will make sure that your link is dropped for the fourth quarter talk within the chat. Thank you so much again for stopping by and supporting. We will be getting started shortly. We have a full agenda to unpack. Stay tuned. We definitely appreciate you all coming out for this very important discussion and what we're looking forward to in the upcoming year and what that means for us, for the state of the melanin, for the melanated people, for our community, our culture, and our diaspora. Thank you again so much for coming through, and we will get started shortly.
When you get any medium or large strike I will be stronger, there will be freedom, just like a wave in a flag. Just like a wave in a flag. Then it goes back, then it goes back, then it goes back. the throne. Strong in the throne, the fire throne, more people thrown, but it's not all I have known. Where I got thrown, sleeping alone, out of the darkness, I see the Father, out of my heart, the Father. Can it be free? Can you breathe? There's no retreat, surrender retreat, what is I can breathe, then we'll be free, so we should be waiting. But that is too late. It's not far away. But all that we say, better than before. Bringing the promises, seeing the score. I heard them say, love is the way, love is the answer. That's what they say. But you gotta see them. They can't believe it. We fight their battle. Then they can keep us. But you control us. They can control us. 'Cause we just move forward. Like, I can breathe. Then we'll be free. They should be waiting. But that's been too late. It's not far away. But all that we say, I'm stronger. Just like a weed. Just like a weed. Just like a weed.
All right. Thank you so much for everyone being in. Hi, Grand Rising today. Miss Asia, thank you so much for being in. Monica, are you clear? Is your mic connected? Monica. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the agenda. As you all are coming in, thank you so much. Throw your glowers up. We are in the building. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much for everyone joining us today. We know it's a beautiful Saturday wherever you are because this weather has just been phenomenal. The seasons are changing. Someone asked, did I miss Miami because of this time of the year, because the seasons are changing? But no, I said, you know what? I enjoy being back in an area that does have the season, has the balance of the seasons. So hello, absolutely. So we got a promotion, Anthony. Absolutely. You know what I said? You're always just been so great with your commentary, with your support. Absolutely. You deserve it. Congratulations on the wrench. So I hope, it's not feeling too heavy for you. You know what they say, to whom much is given, much is required. We wanted to start the agenda. We're just waiting for our political strategist to get back into the chat, and it looks like she's here. Perfect. Monica,
Hello?
are you mic'd up?
Hello.
It's right before I could barely hear you. So everything okay with the mic now? I can still barely hear you. Hello?
Do I just start talking?
Yes, okay, now I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Monica, you're going like in and out. We might have to call you in and then mic you up because it seems like your mic is going in and out for some reason. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's give. Let me.
This is me. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but you're going in and out. I hear you okay. You're going in and out though.
Can you hear me? Can I hear you? How does it work?
Yes, you can. You can hear me. You're going in and out though. Can you hear me? Oh, I see what's happening. You're on both platforms. Okay, so Monica, come out of. I see what's happening. There's
Okay,
an
I
echo.
see how this works now. Okay, what? Just someone start
Yes.
talking.
Okay. So cut off one of them. Stay in StreamYard because you're on the panel, but come out of the chat room. Come out of YouTube. So cut off one of them. Stay in StreamYard because that's why we have the echo. Yeah, I know it can be kind of confusing at first. But we do want you to start the agenda with the
Okay, I'm a,
U.S.
okay.
Yes, we want you to
Well, I'm
start the
gonna
agenda
put
with
the
the.
other phone. Okay.
Yes, we want you to start the agenda with the. Okay. So we're going to start the agenda with the U.S.
Okay, how's this?
presidential election. Yes, we're going to start the agenda with the U.S. presidential election. And then we're going to move on forward to your It Takes a Village initiative and what you are doing locally. And then next on the agenda will be the upward mobility.
Okay. Okay, but thank you, Courtney, for allowing me to be on the show. And do we need to start off with a prayer for our POTUS? Prayer of the United States. So, Court, you want to start us in that prayer?
Yes, you wanted to open with a prayer?
Yes. Could you start us off as we pray for our president?
Absolutely. You know what? And thank you for saying that, Monica, because you know, we I think that we as a people we get away from realizing that we all fall short of the glory. We all fall short of the glory, and end of the day, you know, this is still a human being, and so we definitely want to uplift. We want to uplift this conversation today. First of all, this conversation, this discussion, this agenda review. in regards to elevating our conversation and elevating the diaspora, the community, the culture, and all that we do. We want to extend prayers of healing over to President Donald J. Trump and his wife Melania Trump. We know that no man is immortal, and we also know that no person is receive those good graces if we put them up as so. We want to continue to uplift one another. We want to continue to engage, empower, and inspire one another through our methods, through means, by any means necessary. In your name, we pray. Absolutely. Thank you.
Amen. 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 So, again, my name is Monica DeLancy. I've had the pleasure of knowing the host for 40 years, and she does great work. This is such a great opportunity to be able to continue as we enlighten, engage, and educate. The three E's: enlighten, engage, and educate. And so I will start off as my role as I see she says I'm a political strategist. However, that's a strong word. I do receive it, but I don't know if I have achieved that level as of yet. I still am in doing the work and still doing research and still doing trial and errors to see. But when you say a political strategist, I'm going to say campaign strategist. I know about campaigns, the politics side of it, still a learning process. And definitely in this age that we're in now, where um, elections taking place during the COVID pandemic, the election seasons during the COVID pandemic, um, a lot of campaigners and politicians are going to definitely put these elections down for in the history books, because nobody's going to have this data ever again of how do you campaign, how is somebody going to be elected during the COVID season. And being that our mail-in ballots are probably going to outnumber people that actually vote in person, and then we're voting for people that, if you was to just talk to 10 people, right? Ask 10 people, have they ever met their local elected official, their city councilman, their commissioner, their mayor? I'm not talking about just I've heard their name on TV, I've seen their names on the flyer. I'm talking about actually sat down with them for a cup of coffee and had a conversation with them. So basically, what this COVID campaigning has shown us is that the way people campaign and try to be elected for office is probably going to get away from actually talking to people face to face, actually having coffee with them. Actually, I remember back in the day in our hometown, and Courtney, you know this, they would have Labor Day weekend was the big weekend where you would have fish fries, seafood boils, barbecues, where all the candidates would come out and meet people. So now you don't have to do that as much. All you have to do is just pretty much go on to an app, a social media app, and start talking about your platform, what you're going to do. And if you can have the most money and get your message out, you don't have to sit down with that person to have a conversation. So as we talk about politics and we talk about policies and actually what do these elected officials do for us, we need to say, how has that person helped you? I'm not talking about because you got a flyer in the mail. I'm not talking about because you saw them at church and the pastor said that's a nice person. I'm talking about, did that person come to your house, sit down with you, have a cup of coffee with you? Did that person come and come to a community meeting and you worked on a project with that person? You need to understand that we need to have um elected officials that serve our needs, that know the people. Because if we just count on just because somebody can spend the most money on advertising, then of course we're not going to get our issues addressed. Of course we're not going to get our concerns met. So I'm working on a number of projects right now um in Cobb County, and I see that the outcome is going to be pretty much comes down to who can get the most people to turn in their absentee ballots. I just want to talk about what happened in DeKalb County. Cynthia Yassin, which Courtney worked on the campaign, did a phenomenal job. Cynthia Yassin was a people person. People knew her. People knew that's who they were voting for, and she made it to the runoff. Matter of fact, she had the most votes when it was 4 people in the race. So let's talk about strategy. So had it not been a rule in place that you have to get 50.1% of the vote, Cynthia Yassin would be our decap commissioner. But because the numbers that strategists know, they know that, hey, let's get people to just 2 people in the race. The likelihood those same people gonna come out and vote that's gonna go down, and therefore we can use our different um campaign money to bring more of your people out in the runoff, right? So sometimes the strategy might just be, let's put 4 people in the race, so then we can dilute the votes and then get the person we really want later on. That's all strategy. But do our work stop after election day? No. We keep going. We keep fighting. We keep demanding. So that way, when the next election roll around and somebody comes begging for your votes, or you get a email, or you get a invite, or you get whatever they do on social media, that you can say, if I don't know that person, I'm not going to vote for that person. I'm not going to get caught up in the hype. you know. So that's my take on it. Yes, I do want people to vote, but I don't want you just to vote and go home and go to sleep. I want you to vote and then go back home and you call the person you voted for, and they're on your top 10. They're on your top 10 every week. You email them. Every week you give them a phone call. Every week they're coming to you, telling them what you need. And until you get your issues addressed, you keep calling them. Because what's going to happen is we don't want no more of the fanfare in 2008, 2016 that we call up, we voted for a black president. And yes, we did it. We did our cartwheels. We did everything. We danced. Whatever, right? It was just loved it. But at the end of the day, those same people that stood in lines to vote, had they gone back and joined a civic group, had they gone back and participated in what's going on in the community, then right now we would not be fighting for just for these people, these companies to pay us livable wages so we can pay our rents. Okay? Because we got caught up in the hype. And let's not get caught up in the hype again. And that's my take on that. And I do want to just acknowledge that another of our president turned 96 years old this week, Jimmy Carter. And before I go on to the next part I want to talk about, I do want to talk about how Jimmy Carter is a proponent for the Habitat for Humanity housing, when they go and they build houses on where people can really afford to pay the mortgage on. I'm talking about Habitat for Humanity houses, nice brand new structures. Some of them come with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and the mortgages are like $400, $500 a month. That's something that somebody can pay. A person that works in retail, customer service, can pay that mortgage, build up equity, build up a safe place for their children to call home, and then they can pass that on to the next generation. So I know it's not just it's international. They build houses international as well. So I just want to just talk about that. That Jimmy Carter is instrumental in being a part of and establishing as we segue into the next item on the agenda. Corey, you want to say anything?
I just want to say, Monica, you're doing a phenomenal
Or just
job.
continue?
You know, I always say that, you have encouraged and inspired me, absolutely, to to the point where, when you came and visited me in my community in Miami. You wrote out a winning campaign within the 1 week that you visited, and I thank you for that. And I do, I don't know, I appreciate that you're humbled with the title of political strategist, but that's what you are. Quite honestly, that's what you've always been. But I thank you for mentioning that with Jimmy Carter, because, as I was saying in the chat, I think somebody might have seen, a few of you might have seen my enthusiasm when you're speaking about Jimmy Carter, because, that was something that you and I used to talk about. You always talked about how Jimmy Carter was the farm boy. This man was not a political strategist. He was not someone that was, entirely ambitious. But he ushered in so much change with very grassroots, and very to the issue of local needs, as opposed to national platforms. And you always had such a great respect for him. So I knew that you would do a representation of him justice. And absolutely, happy 95th birthday to Jimmy Carter. So absolutely, you can proceed to the next item on the agenda with the It Takes a Village initiative. I am very much in support and in appreciation for you rolling out such an initiative, because, of course, coming from Coconut Grove, that's what we refer to, the village. So I'm going to go back on mute, and you can continue on to your next item on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, the next item on the agenda um it takes a village. And so therefore, like I talked about with President Carter, his building the houses. Yeah, that's how we build communities for sustainability. When you go into communities and you see that community is reaching 30 to 40% renter occupied, that's going to be a very challenge to get that community not only to be a voting community, but also an engaged community, because that community is 30 to 40% renter occupied. The likelihood for a family to stay in a community longer than 2 years is very slim, because you automatically see it's 30 to 40% occupied. So my work with this, talking with about it takes a village and building communities, comes from me being a renter in Cobb County. I lived here for 13 years. I reside in a community that has um is located right by Six Flags amusement park off I-20. We're 10 minutes from Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, and so definitely it's a prime location for people who are commuting, back and forth to work. You're right by I-20, I-20, 285. So with that being said, I'm going to let you put this in perspective about Pebblebrook High School. It is the anchor institution for the area. I don't know if you know about communities or how they're made up, but when you go to communities, most oftentimes your community is going to be identified by that high school, right? So that's why I got to start to talk about the high school area, which is Pebblebrook High School. Pebblebrook High School is located in Cobb County. Cobb County is the second largest school district in the state of Georgia. It's behind Gwinnett County. Cobb County is second. Cobb County spans from the 75 all the way south to I-20. So we're located in what's called the South Cobb area. Again, because of this proximity to Atlanta, our streets intersect with Atlanta. So if you go from Mapleton Parkway, it turns into Martin Luther King, which is the city of Atlanta, right? Pebblebrook High School has 25 apartment communities. I say this again, 25 apartments communities zoned for its high school, right? So when I say 25 apartment communities, no, I'm not talking about subsidized housing. No, I'm not talking about public housing. I'm talking about I'm talking about apartments that require you to pay market rate rent. Okay? So again, had I been saying 25, apartment complexes and 10 of them were subsidized, this community would not be as transient. Okay, it would not be as transient because when you have that many people that's paying subsidized rent, they're not gonna move as much. But when you're talking about people that are paying more than 50%, I'm going to repeat this: 50% of their income on rent, there is going to be some movement. Okay, so how do we encourage these communities that we know that the changeover is 30 to 5%, 40% every 2 years, to be really engaged into their schools, to be really engaged into the community, and also be engaged in their church. So enlight, engage, educate schools, enlight churches, um, um, engage into the community, civic engagement. So how do you do that? Because even without the houses that we know that are rented now, of townhomes, condos, you have 25 apartment complexes. You have 25 businesses. I repeat, businesses that are housing residents, right? And then at the same time, um, they are forced to pay more than 50% of their income on rent. And when I say forced, because you know, when you talk about these wages, the average person, again, you meet 10 people, eight of those people do not make $20 an hour. But those people have to have a place to live, right? They have to have a place to call home. Just because they don't make $20 an hour, does that mean they don't have need a place to live? So we have to have these conversations with the businesses, starting with the apartment complexes, starting with the all the different corporations that are employing people in Cobb County, to say, if we know that your bottom line means that you cannot pay everybody more than $20 an hour, but we're gonna have to come together to find out how we're gonna house these people, because they cannot just say go live with your parents, go live with your grandparents. That's not an option. And now with social distancing, you can't even say go and get 6 people in a two-bedroom apartment, because, as we know, that is not COVID guidelines. How are you gonna be 6 feet apart with somebody that's 6 people in a two-bedroom apartment? But in order to pay the rent, you have to have that many people in there in order to get the rent paid. Okay, so what COVID has shown us is that we're gonna have to be intentional on making sure that people receive livable wages, or we're going to have to be intentional on providing housing for people so that it can protect their health, so that it can protect their children. Okay. Now, what I do know, and we're going to start off with the politicians. Politicians sometimes steer away from things that are considered heavy lifting. And when you talk about housing, that is a heavy lifting type of conversation. That is not something that you're going to be able to solve in a term. Most of your state representatives, state senators, are they have to be elected every 2 years. Um, um, not nobody's ever safe, but you do have some areas where you have strong elected officials that's going to get elected every 2 years. So maybe they can pick up the agenda on housing. Your commissioners, your city councilmen, every 4 years, right? Right? And then you have your mayors every 4 years. You have staggered terms. But let me tell you how this heavy lifting can be a partnership down the slate. Because you have your United States senator, there are no term limits, right? There are no term limits on these terms, such as your state senator, state representative, commissioner, school board. There's no term limits. You just got to be reelected. But United States senator, which serves in the for at federal level, is every 6 years. And then it's off years. It's not every 6 years the same year. You get two United States senators per your state. So it's 6 years for one, and then the next 2 years it might be the other senate. So they don't have to be reelected in the same terms. But the way this all connected is, if everybody that was elected met as a coalition. Your United States Senate, commissioner, city councilman, state rep, state school board, senator, all those met as a coalition. They can build a policy and work on a policy that really gets down to housing. But what happens is everybody's trying to protect their seat. Everybody's trying to protect their agenda. So housing, which is heavy lifting, is pushed further down, right? But what you can have that's considered not heavy lifting is the fluff stuff. It's the fluff stuff that's going to get a person some wins right away. Oh, let's go and work on maybe let's something that's simple as zoning. That's something that especially on the commissioner level you can work on that right away. It doesn't take the full 4 terms. Okay. Oh, let's award this grant to someone, and the grant that is going, the nonprofit that's going to, if the grant is $100,000 or 200,000, the grant, most of that grant covers the salary of a person. It doesn't even cover the services, right? That's needed for the nonprofit. So in a sense, if they're saying, "Oh, we're address housing, we gave this nonprofit $200,000," well, 100 of that went to the salary of the administrative fees. Then the rest of it would go towards if you're trying to help 30 households. If rent's 1,000, that money's gone. And then maybe you, if they're lucky enough, it's some left over for programs, workshops on budgeting, workshops on family planning, right? And then they come back to the table and say, we addressed this housing. But no, you didn't, because all you did was just give rent, just a band-aid fix. Okay. We have not really addressed housing. But in their mind, that's a win. That's a win. Okay. So how do you get renters who, on paper, and the census will show us this. And let me tell you, let me just define what a renter is. My terms, as I organize We Thrive in Riverside Renters Association, my terms, what I say what a renter is, if you do not have a lease or a deed in your name, you are a renter. So if you above age 20, I'm gonna say 25 because 25 seems to be that number as well, that you can no longer be on your parents' insurance, right? So we're gonna stay with 25. Some people say they're adults at 18. It is what it is. Some people say they're adults at 21. But I'm going to say you're adults, you're a full legal adult 25. Because that is the age where you cannot be on your parents' insurance anymore. So if we was to go in as 25 years old, where do they reside? Where is their lease in their name? Or their mortgage in their name? Well, if they still live with their parents or grandparents, they are a renter. They okay, pretty much. They're over the age of 25. So if you think about the fact we already know 30% of communities rental because we have 25 apartment homes. Then you add on to the fact we know there's a lot of townhomes and condos and duplexes that's rented. That's the other 15%. So now we're at 45% of a rental occupied community. Now, where does the other 52% come from? It's how many people that's over the age of 25 that actually still live with their parents or grandparents. That's how a community is more majority made up of renters. All right. So if we have 52% of the community and we know there's 10 elected seats in the community, well then 5 of those seats need to be occupied by renters. Hello. So now we have to mobilize the village. We have to educate the village to let them know that until we get our issues addressed, until we get our demands met, then we need to be on that ballot to be elected. All right? And it does not come overnight. It comes from being civically engaged, building partnerships with civic engagement groups, knowing who your schools are, your principals, your teachers, your parents, your families, telling them what the issues are. Because no, we don't want to say, well, why aren't the parents involved? Well, the parents are trying to live. Parents are trying to pay their bills, so that's why they can't be involved to a certain level where they're trying to, get their children through schools. Or why don't people come to civic engagement meetings? Again, people are trying to live. Well, in other communities they go to a meeting now, they get onto a Zoom call now, and it's 50 or 60 people. Other communities it might be 10. Well, the reason why people, because people are trying to live. They're at jobs. They're working two jobs. They're babysitting. They're doing other type of work to bring in income because this eviction moratorium is going to be up, and it does not say that the rent is going to be forgiven. The rent still going to be due. So whether or not it's due in December or January, it's still gonna be due. Because rent not paid because of these elected officials in place and they're just doing their job. Remember this, you gonna see that judge, the judge gonna have all the compassion, but the judge has gotta follow the law and evict people for non-payment. And the reason they gotta evict for non-payment, because how you gonna pay rent when you only make $10 an hour? So these same businesses who are donating to these campaigns are elected officials to build those policies. They're electing those same officials, the judges, to interpret those policies. They're electing the same officials, the sheriffs, who come put you out your house. So if 10 of the seats, your school board, your state rep, state senator, commissioner, chairman, um, your other elected officials that pretty much touch your area, the other five, because like I said, it's 10 of those. If 10 of those seats, if five of those 10 seats were occupied by renters or by people that had the same issues as you and I, we would get things really addressed. So what do? We thrive in Riverside Rent Association. We educate, we mobilize, we stay, and we continue to beat the drum. Because if we don't continue to beat the drum, nobody will. And so when we come to the table, they say, well, gosh, Monica, gosh, Courtney, God, y'all able to do this, you do that. They don't know. They don't know we slept in our car the night before. They don't know that we have to get rides to do what we have to do. They don't know that we constantly are talking to people, engaging with people. That's what we're doing so that we can show that, hey, you can be a renter, you could be a woman, you could be a black woman that go from eviction court, and you go from eviction court to the federal court, and we can do these things because guess what? We don't do it. If not us, then who? So yes, when we took the apartment complex to the court because they was neglectful on their maintenance issues, not only did people win, yes, they won their claims when they came through our organization, but they were also we was able to earn a resource center to provide for the community. So it's not just about winning counterclaims. It's about continuing the movement. Okay, when Georgia House passed the bill, House Bill 346, non-retaliation on renters when they complain about maintenance issues. That's why people don't complain. It's because they're afraid that they complain they're gonna get kicked out and have nowhere to live. So when they have a leaky roof, they might not say nothing. But when my ceiling was leaking just the other night, not only did I email, call, I sent a timeline in because I pay too much rent. And once I documented, sent my timeline, the head maintenance person had to come in the middle of the night. Yes, he did. Because I was not going to sit there and be like, I'm not going to say nothing because they might put me out because I'll go someplace else. And guess what? Because I have kids I have to look out for. No. So these are some of the things we have to take the fear out. We cannot be afraid. We cannot be afraid. Because at the end of the day, when we already show that we're afraid, we're already lost. So we cannot be afraid. It takes a village. It takes of helping each other. It takes of getting together and building stronger communities together because we have to do it for our children. Because they're looking at us. Because we don't fight for them, they're not going to fight for themselves. And that's what I want to say. Thank you, Courtney.
thank you again, Monica, for just the rundown. You know, I was in, so I bounced back and forth, so everyone knows, between YouTube, because as you all know, when I'm in StreamYard, I can't really see what's going on the channel within the chat. So, you know, hey, when we do these agendas, when this State of the Melanin addresses are done, I love to be a part of what's going on in the conversation. I wanted to highlight a couple of really, and again, thank you, Monica, DeLancy. Thank you. Like I said, our grandmother, the former mayor of Daytona Beach, Florida, always said we come from good stock. And I tell you, you're always a proof of that. Just the way that you think, the way that your mind has always thought, so strategically, analytically, absolutely. You know, I'm looking forward to the day where I can see you on CNN and I can tell people that's my sister. We know that that's coming. So a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. Miss Hope's reading hour. Again, Miss Hope, congratulations. You are wrenched up with that channel. You were already, of course, wrenched up. My 215ers, we're wrenched up heavy in here. We got Green Unlimited with Miss Keisha. We also have Miss Hope, okay, and Anthony Taylor. Now, all 215s are wrenched up. But she said something that really stuck out, deliberative democracy. I love that term, and she was engaging with Anthony Taylor in regards to it. So we're going to circle back around. Jen J made an interesting comment regarding that there's some things going on with evictions that no one discusses. I definitely would like to discuss those with you. And again, if anyone would like to be in touch with Monica DeLancy, her email address is her name at hotmail.com. And as you all know, what we're doing new here now on this channel, on this particular live stream, is when we close out the topic or the live or the agendas, what I do is allow everyone, because I've been in that position too, where I wanted to grab some person's name or some person's information, and because the live is over, you know, sometimes depending on the device that you have, it's not posted right away, and then you go out doing what you're doing, and you totally forget the person that you want to connect with. I've gotten better about hurrying up and doing that and reaching right out to people, but you know, and because of the fact that it can slip your mind. And again, like I said, it's a beautiful Saturday. What we're going to do at the end of this address is I'm going to leave it up for a couple of minutes. We'll let another song play or two, so that will give you some time to further engage, to network, and to pull up or to copy down any email addresses or links that were dropped within the stream. So next to the agenda, we're going to be bringing up Brother CK Screen Learning. He is going to be doing our upward mobility component, which is our economic strengthening, empowering section of the agenda. Because again, as a people, you all, we cannot realistically plan to get ahead without having any type of economic contribution or economic plan in place. So coming to the panel, coming to the dais, next is Brother Screen Learning, and if one of our mods can please drop his link, that would be great. Or I will actually, when I come out, I'll come back into the YouTube stream and I'll drop it. But yes, Brother Screen Learning, let me add you.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is going well. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. There's a little delay, so I thought I'd added you and then I'll delete it. But
no worries.
definitely thank you so much for presenting today on this topic. As you know, I'm going to come on out and you'll have the stage. But again, thank you so much for being a part of this address, and MAXX Media Group, always bringing such great information, CK, and looking very forward. I got my notebook out, my prayer book out to take some notes as you speak on the topic of friendly society. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. All right. So yes, I'm CK. Thanks for having me, Courtney Omega, on the State of the Melanin address. I really appreciate it. Hope everyone's doing well. So she said, I'm going to be discussing a friendly society, and Monica made a really good point about politics and policies, and that how a person or politician has a politician or a person helped you. And that's really what it's about with a friendly society, is being a part of something where you're helping others and others are helping you. Because if you're not able to have a mutual beneficial relationship, there really isn't a point in having a relationship. Because if not, then you have something unbalanced and you may be giving more than you're receiving, which is not something you really want to be involved with. And I also liked how she mentioned candidates work on projects that benefit you and your interests. Your interest or your self-interest is important because no one's going to care about you more than you. And I agree, it does take a village, and that kind of helps segue into a friendly society. So sometimes in life, you have to do business with people you would not eat with. And you see it all the time when you enter into the workforce. Your first job, you might be working with people that you're making money with them, you're working with them, but you wouldn't have a drink with them, you wouldn't eat with them. So a friendly society is doing business with people you would live with, you would eat with, your friends. A social group is two or more people who interact with one another. They share a similar characteristics and have a sense of unity. In regards to social identity, the group is defined in terms of those who identify themselves as members of the group. The group becomes a society when the group of individuals involved have persistent social interaction and share the same spatial or social territory, typically subject to the same political authority and dominant cultural expectations. Societies are characterized by patterns of relationships between individuals who share distinctive culture and institutions, and the society may be described as the sum total of such relationships among its members. When the society or group has a bond of mutual affection, shares a way of life, and benefits the group without an objective to make a profit, they are friends. So a mutual benefit society, a friendly society, does require its members to accept newcomers and families into the society, usually through assessing if the family has wealth, the occupation of the breadwinner or members of the family. Do they have a generational enterprise and other assets that qualify for entry into the society? Examples of benefit societies, friendly societies, include trade unions, cooperatives, credit unions, self-help groups, immigrant hometown societies, sometimes even fraternity organizations, and they're built upon the models of different orders and other co-working communities. The activities of the societies vary. Some of the activities include running a social club, providing discretionary benefits to members in the event that someone is sick or unemployed. Sometimes they run sports events, manage allotments. They teach self-defense, have private security, driver service. They provide education to the children and adults, mentoring, legal and accountancy strategy. A benefit society can be characterized by members having equivalent opportunity for a say in the organization. Members have potentially equivalent benefits, a collection fund for payment, educating others on the group's interests, preserving cultural traditions, and a mutual deference. Some of the benefits includes property value protection, controlling rent costs, ensuring employment, access to capital through microloans, grants, and scholarships, protecting property, group economics, providing mentors and education for generations, and teaching history. Just a couple of things. And just to kind of further go into what a friendly society is by explaining what it is not. And a friendly society is not really a corporation. This is more of a lifestyle. And the goal is for your family one day to grow up with and have your children grow up with another family. So you and your family that has children are raising your children alongside other families, everyone's friends, and everyone is benefiting each other, not for profit or not for a goal, but benefit so that your lives are improved by having these friends you can talk to, and also having somewhat families that can achieve upward mobility, economic advancement, while having people to lean on and people to socialize with, and kind of keeping a tight circle. So some actionable items of friendly societies. I will say this much. If you are interested in creating a friendly society, which is not an organization, it's not like a LLC where you have to go petition the government or anything that is an actual thing that requires like a charter or anything like that. This is just something you're kind of making up. Most of them start with individuals, and you have to understand that you may be in the society alone if you have no beneficial friends that meet your liking. So while you're in this thing by yourself, you're figuring out how you want it to be as far as your circle. And while you're thinking of what you want, you can also, by interacting with people, you can determine, is this somebody I would like to have as a part of my friendly society? If not, then you just rule them out. And so first actionable item is decide what type of people you want in your friendly society. Do you want married people, single parents, single people? Do you want to have an age requirement, lifestyle choices, religion, business owners, investors, income restriction, asset requirement, things like that? And if you're a single person, you have to understand that anyone that you date, when you're dating with a purpose, you need to express your idea of a friendly society. And if they're not with it or they're not committed to it as much as you are, then you have to make a choice between the friendly society and the mate. And I'm here to tell you that a friendly society is more beneficial than being with someone who doesn't align with your interests. But that's up to you to decide as far as how you want to go about it. But it's very beneficial for a friendly society to start with an individual and include the individual marrying someone, making children, and then getting other families to be a part of the friendly society. Societies are better with families. However, you can make exceptions because someone is going to be single until they meet someone or get with someone. Get a sheet of, the next actionable item is get a sheet of paper and put a heading of family, friends, religion, work, and business at the top. List out people from each group. Ask each person for a loan. Say you will have a lawyer draft up a contract to pay them back and payments with interest and have it notarized. If they speak doubt, criticize you, or belittle you for needing funds, then do not include them in your business column. Third actionable item is decide how or when you will invite someone to an interest meeting to meet everyone. I recommend typing up a letter and mailing it to them, email, communicating it at a gala, a black tie event, networking event, a wedding, or something similar. And the criteria for telling people about the friendly society you're wanting to start, which is all informal. It really boils down to what you're comfortable with, because when it boils down to it, you want to have something where you not only have generational wealth, but you have generational friends, where your children can one day say, oh, I grew up with such and such as kids, or if something happens to someone, there's other families that can kind of cover down and help out, because everyone is friends and everyone wants to see everyone else do well. So, I got like 45 more seconds. And in my opinion, a lot of people, when they say they want everyone to come together and do well, they're referring to a friendly society, and it starts with you. You don't have to wait for someone else to start it. You don't have to wait for someone else to approve of it. it starts with you, the individual, and then you bring people into your circle, or you can join someone else's if they already have something like that going on. You really want to be comfortable with people, because the basis is these are people that not only would you want to do business with and eat with, but also live with. So pending any questions, that concludes my brief.
Now, I actually do have a couple of questions, but I'm going to keep those until the until we're wrapping up, just so we can just continue to move everything along. But there were two questions that I wrote down in particularly. But I think that this goes very much hand in hand with what Monica actually spoke on in regards to it takes a village, because I think what we are looking.
Yes, that is true. That's why I'm glad that Monica, in her brief, that she mentioned things that deals with the village, with community, because a friendly society definitely kind of stands on the shoulders of what she was saying. So yeah, I agree. It builds off of what she was briefing about.
Yes, I think that what we're looking forward to is people don't like this is very much not a popular term that I use, but it's plantation politics. It's communal living, it's plantation, where you live amongst the people, you work amongst the people. Yeah, I see that smile. I know it's not a very popular term when I throw it out there, but that's what it is. It's the plantation living. You're working, you're living, and you are you're building with the same people in the same community, and that is what a plantation did. So welcome to the chat, B. Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining us today. Groupthink, absolutely. You're taught in school to not do group thinking, but then you kind of get out in society and in life, and you do realize that you need to be around like-minded people, because it's better for your sanity, for your self-esteem, for your emotional support, as well as your growth. Being around people that think, feel, and act and behave the same way that you do. It's no problem. We're so glad you made it, and thank you again, Brother CK. Next, we are moving the agenda forward. Also, you all, I am watching the comments in the stream. I do know that there are some questions. We will have a little bit of time at the end after the agenda wraps, that we'll go back and address a couple of questions, okay, with the panel members. So next to the dais is our wiser, Miss Mama Omonike, Mama MAXX. She will be speaking on the holistic health component of the melanated community, culture, and diaspora. Mama MAXX, how are you this beautiful Saturday afternoon?
Hey everyone, I am doing great. It's a beautiful day, and I had to force myself to get up early this morning to do my power walk.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
I had to do it, because how am I going to talk about holistic health if I don't do what I have to do?
I hear that. I hear that. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and remove myself from the stream and mute. And you can absolutely move the agenda forward with this topic that is so on time, especially as the seasons change, right? So I am going to mute myself and come on out. But again, welcome to the dais. Thank you so much again, Mama.
Thank you. Everyone, my name is Omonike, Mama MAXX. By trade, I am a medical technologist. I work in the state of Florida. I live in Tampa. I'm a little nervous right now, and hopefully it'll be 10 minutes, maybe over, hopefully more than that. So before I start, I want to say I am not a doctor. I'm a med tech. So everything I say, I'm not giving medical advice. If you want that, you have to find a doctor. Don't come for me. Okay. So I wrote out some stuff, so I'm going to read from my notes. All right. Okay. Now, during this pandemic, many of us have been home and we've been non-active, and that causes us to gain weight. A lot of us are stressed out. We're panicking. We're out of jobs. Not all of us, but many of us. And we're eating out of frustration, out of fear of the unknown. Now, I want to discuss healthy habits that we can slowly incorporate in our lives. And I stress the point of slowly incorporate because you have to do it in a slow manner. You can't just gung ho jump into it because you won't keep it up. The thing is consistency. You have to be consistent with your health and your health habits. Now, I'm going to talk about three components of holistic health. One is nutrition, that's what we eat. Number two is exercise. And number three is reducing stress. Of course, there's much more to that. Holistic means the whole picture. Now, I'm going to talk about nutrition. Now, of course, I'm just going to put it out there. We, as Black people, we eat a lot of slave food, okay? You want to call it soul food, whatever. That once had a time and place for us when we didn't have a choice. It has a lot of fats, it has a lot of salt, it has a lot of carbs. Even Caribbean food, I consider that soul food, slave food. And my people are from Jamaica. It has a lot of carbs. So this is something that we are used to. So it's more, I feel, of a mental thing. And I think the only way we can switch to healthy foods is what I call substitution or reduction. That means, for example, let me tell you about me, what I eat. Well, I used to eat. Sometimes I eat rice and peas, curry chicken. What else that y'all would know? Very little salad. So what you would do for your family, instead of saying, hey, everybody, oh, I'm switching up, we're going to be eating green beans and corn. You know, people, they're going to freak out because they're used to their meats and their fats. What you're going to do, you're going to substitute. You're going to reduce. You're going to reduce the meats or the rice. You don't serve that much rice. You give more salads. You add more plant-based meals. You take away the potato chips. You stop buying it for your home. If you are the adult, if you have children, you are the adult. You control what's in your home. You and your husband, you control what's in your home. So people are going to eat what you put on their plate and what you allow in their home. Now, as Black folks, we are on the bottom totem pole when it comes to diabetes, heart issues, joint pain, and obesity. And during this COVID time, it has increased. I have a friend, she told me the other day she gained she said 30 pounds. That's a lot. Okay. So becoming healthy is a mindset that should be practiced daily. I always say that Timbuktu and Rome was not built in a day. So to get healthy, from unhealthy to healthy, will not be done in a day. And it's also like, to me, getting out of debt. You're not going to get out of debt. It's something you have to chip away each and every day. So you have to do it in increments. Okay. So that's with the food issue. Oh, I also want to say one thing about diabetes, because a lot of people are diabetic. There is a book those of you like to read, by Dr. Neil Bernard, Dr. Neil D. Bernard, MD. Get your pen and paper because I know there are diabetics out there. It's called Dr. Neil Bernard, that's Barnard, Program for Reversing Diabetes. And again, I'm a medical technologist. I am not a doctor. I am not giving medical advice. These are my opinions only, so don't come for me. I'm just trying to help. Anyway, in this book, he talks about plant-based eating and how it will lower the carbohydrates, it will lower the fats around your stomach, which will allow the sugar to go into the cells and do its job. Because what is diabetes? It's simply carbohydrates cannot function to, it cannot be converted into sugar to be used. It can't be used by the body. The pancreas, which make insulin, it's not working. So there are ways to get around that. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there because I believe that we gotta, grab our health by the balls. So another thing is exercise. Like I said, it should be incorporated. Now, as far as exercise, let me tell you what I do. I hate running. I was in the military. I've done 4 years. I can't stand running. We did a slow jog. I hated it. What I do, I do power walks. So what I do, I go to, I live in Tampa. There's several parks, but there's one in particular I go to. It's very safe. And I power walk. So what is power walking? Power walking is walking very fast. So I started with, let's say, going around one time. And then I build that up. And then I'll go around twice. So when I go around one time, that's 1.1 miles. Now I'm up to 6 miles. Today I only did 4 though. So you got to start small and, you work your way up. Now I know a lot of you are saying, oh, you want to go to the gym or you can't afford the gym. You don't have to go to the gym. In each city, they have, like here, they have the City of Tampa gyms. You can sign up for $15 for the full year and you can use their facility. I behoove you right now, if it's open, don't use it. With this COVID mess going on, in Tampa, they're closed, but the parks are open. Don't use it. Also, you can work out inside your home or you can walk around your block if you feel it's safe. If you could use weights. If you're 45 years old and up, especially women, it'll behoove you to start lifting some weights because as you get older, your bone density will decrease, especially after menopause. So, you have to do that. And I do that. I'll tell you the truth, I don't do that often, but I do walk every other day. Lower consumption of alcohol, if possible. And I say if possible because a lot of us were under stress right now, especially with this pandemic. You want to hit up that alcohol bottle. So I'll again say it'll behoove you to decrease it. Now, I used to drink, my people are Jamaican, right? I used to drink rum. Now, if I have it in the house, it's for my ancestors. I do the Moscato. It has just as much sugar in it, and I have to be careful with my sugar content, but I manage it. Oh, so I told you it must be done slowly and everything must be done every day. Okay, let's go back to the plant-based meals. I suggest at least 2 to 3 times a week to incorporate plant-based meals. It is so easy to do. And it goes along with the book with reversing diabetes. You'll be able to lose weight quickly and you will feel lighter. When you go to the bathroom, your defecation will not stink that much compared to when you eat meats. Let me see. Vitamins and minerals are fine. That's what I wrote here. Vitamins and minerals, they're important to take because of the quality of the foods we have these days that's in the store. They put a lot of pesticides in the food. It diminishes the quality of the vitamins and minerals. So I say buy the best quality vitamins that you can get. I feel you can get a one a day, one of those one a day vitamins. And also, I take vitamin D. I haven't taken it in a while. I'm not going to lie, I ran out. Vitamin D3 with 2,000 IU. That's international units. Let me see what else. Okay, so let me go back to the vitamin D. You guys know that vitamin D is also made by your body when the sun is on your skin. So if you don't want to take vitamin D, if you can get 15 minutes of sun on your arms, they claim that's good. But there are reports, and I don't have the write up. It's in one of my videos. There was a write up on about vitamin D and the COVID. So you can look it up. Don't take my word on it. Taking vitamin D, zinc, and vitamin C is good to build up your immunity dealing with this COVID virus. I'll say it again. Vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. As a matter of fact, I went into Walgreens store and they were selling face masks and they claimed it was embedded with zinc in it. All right. The third part I want to talk about of holistic health is stress. All right. Now, I have a saying. I cannot control what's outside my home or outside my body, but I can control what's in my home. I can control me. Okay? Stress is a killer among us Black folks. We get stressed out at work, you know, the racism, this, that. So I'm just going to tell you what I do. Okay? I have a saying. I'm the queen. For you men, you are the king. You ladies, you are the queen. Your home is your queendom, is your kingdom. So you can control the energy of your home. You can control the beauty of your home. I feel once you enter the gates, whether it's an apartment or a home, and you enter your home, it should be set up so that it's warm and inviting. That your blood pressure should drop when you enter your home. I'm about certain things. Number one, I'm about the visual of my home. Is it pleasing to me and my family, if you have family? Is it clean? Is it organized? Is it beautiful? My home is Afrocentric, but you don't have to have an Afrocentric home. It's whatever you want. If you want a Western style, or if you want it gray and white, you know, with the bling, that sophisticated look, the minimum look, whatever you want. It's about what's pleasing to you. So in my home, I'm about the beauty. I'm about colors. Hold on. We're going to do something different, y'all. Guess what we're going to do? Okay. Can y'all see my home? I don't know if y'all can hear me, but we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you. I could show you better than I could tell you. Okay. So my home, as you see, is Afrocentric. Now it might not be for everyone, but it does for me. The colors you have in your home has an effect on you. It puts out a certain energy. Red, as you see, is vibrant. And everything has a yin and a yang. Okay. I ground it with brown. So I have that both energy here. All right. Let me show you. Show you that energy compared to this bedroom here, which is blue. It's very calming. This room is dedicated to male energy. Okay. So if I feel a certain way and, I need to calm down, I'm in here. Right. This room is dedicated, I don't know if you can see the light, to feminine energy. I can't put on the light, but it's like a terracotta color. I don't know if you can see it. Right? So the way I set up my home, I use colors. That room in there, I didn't do that one yet. Right? So I just wanted to show y'all that. All right. Another thing that you can use to control your stress in your home, I talked about colors, is using scents. Now, I love candles and I love incense, but I know there are times that people cannot use that. So we're going to talk about that. I suggest you do not use incense or candles if you have children. There are other substitutes. Let's talk about it. I don't know if you can see this. I have something, this is called Kelowna. I don't know if Neo would know what this is. This is called eau d'orange. This is orange water. You can buy these at a Botanica. Those are religious stores. So I have their original one. This is sandalwood. And this is a perfume. And what I do with these, depending on what I want to do, what scent I want, I would put it in a glass, just a quarter, and fill the rest with water, and it will scent up the house. So that's a way you can fragrance your home. Because I believe, when it comes to your home, it should be about the vision, it should be about the smell, and also about what you hear. Now, if you come home from a stress day, dealing with the boss, dealing with the coworker who's venting, microaggressions, all that stuff, you don't need to be playing rap music. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all like the rap music. It has a time and a place. You need to be listening to some jazz. You need to listen to, I play CDs. I know I'm old fashioned, but you can also go on YouTube and you can listen to African flute, Native American music. They have the flute music. All of that puts out a certain energy in your home and it will lower your blood pressure. Okay. A lot of us suffer from high blood pressure from the job and including what we eat. And I'm telling you, if you exercise, if you watch what you eat, your blood pressure will go down. And of course, including control your environment. Remember, you are the king and you are the queen of your queendom and kingdom. So that's all I have to say about holistic health, unless anyone have any questions. I don't know if that was 10 minutes. Was that 10 minutes?
First of all, I want to say beautiful home, Omonike. I know where I am going to ask, can I come have some dinner when I come to
Yep.
Tampa?
Come
Thank
on.
you so much for that overview. It was beautiful, very well organized, and the invitation into your home was just phenomenal. We are going
Thank you.
to bring everyone from the stream, from the agenda up for the panel. Monica, if you are still with us, you can go ahead and connect your device also. We are going to go over some questions that people asked, and then we're going to so yeah,
I'm
let's
trying to
do that
figure
and
this
let
thing
me
out.
oh, there we are. Because I said, it's only right if I'm getting prepared for the Cam Up tonight, the Cam Up slumber party. So a couple of questions that I noticed in the
Mm,
chat that I wanted to definitely address. One of them was, one of them was to, okay. I had this question for you, Omonike. Thank you so much. Now, you said that when you have kids, and I do, I have, two. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and both of them, which is interesting, both of them are asthmatic.
mm,
So I don't do the incense
mm,
as much as I would like to. I don't usually burn incense more than about 2 or 3 times a year. But the candles are, I think that's my guilty pleasure a bit.
mm.
The colonia, where do you pick it up from?
Sure. This is called Kelowna. They're in Botanicas. You're in the Atlanta area. They have Botanicas. They are
Yeah,
religious stores. They're usually in the Latino communities.
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Because I
yeah,
have a
so like this
place
is
literally right next to my door. It would be perfect. I have a collection of seashells. And
mm,
I usually used to put the candle in my previous place in Miami. I would put a candle in the middle of the seashells, and that's what was,
mm,
like as soon as you walked in, that's what hit you. So I
mm. Oh, she's gone. Okay, so
She'll be
since she's
back.
gone, yeah, I just want to fill in and show y'all what I'm talking about. Never mind my ugly bathroom, y'all. So this is what I do. You see it? So what I would do, I will put some in here and put water, from the sink in there, and it gives it a nice scent. So that's the way you can scent up your house without um lighting up candles, because we got to be careful of the children. Now, I don't have any kids, but
yeah.
I like doing different things, to scent up my home. Oh, let me show y'all something.
Because I definitely I love smell goods, and I agree with you. I think when you come home, it should be, like you should be transported to another space, and
Exactly.
I like for everything to be organized. I've been that way since, as Monica can tell you, since I was, a child. I make my bed every morning, regardless of how long I spent in
Yeah,
it. Or some people say if they didn't sleep in it all
bingo.
night, they want to be ready for when they get home. What? I make my bed regardless of how much I used it the night before. So
Right.
that was something. And I also wanted to commend you on the comment regarding the diet, because I just came off of a no meat, no sugar September, and I'm always a fan of fast. So it
Hmm.
wasn't difficult for me so much to just say without the meat or sugar. And
Oh, she's gone. Yeah, but what Courtney is talking about is intermittent fasting. I think she's talking about that. Where you don't eat certain types of foods and even certain times. What I would do, I don't eat breakfast a lot of times. I went out and I walked. After my power walk, then I'll get a coffee. And, you know, because I like to patronize the ethnic shops. So I get my coffee and I had 2 crab empanadas. I don't always have that. That's once in a while. But I do that because when you're up and you don't eat, that's just like when you're sleeping. You know, you're not having any foods and your body is repairing itself. So you're actually extending that, you know? So that's what I do. So that's good that you do that, Courtney.
You know, and I, the thing about it is, it's very hard to convince other people to give up certain things in their diet, and for them to appreciate like the exact correlation. You
Stop,
know, when you're eating things that are high
stop.
in sodium and they're stressed out, you know, that
All,
definitely,
all you can do, all you can do is advise. Stop.
that's it.
You know,
That's it.
you be the change. You do you. You be the change. When people see the change in you, and then they're gonna ask, you're gonna say, "Well, remember, I told you X, Y, and Z." It's easier to show someone than tell them. Please, you can't tell anybody anything.
That's definitely
Yeah,
bringing up
but what?
my shameless plug for I do a meal prep business, Magenta Grow Bistro to Go,
Okay,
and that's
yeah,
another part. People kind of, they want to jump off of things so fast too. When I say, wait, you know, let's do this so we can wean you off. You know, let's do the Impossible
right,
Burger because you like burgers. You know, I don't want to just
right.
start giving you the salads and the stir fries, and you know, you're like, well, I'm missing my meat. So I'm like, the Impossible Burger is incredible. I don't do tofu a lot because of the estrogen.
Mhm.
Of course,
How? Me too.
yeah. So and you know, the seitan, I just can't get past the name. That's just all scary to me.
What?
So
What name?
you know, in the dishes that I've had with it, I've had some meatless ribs with the seitan
Oh, the steak.
that
I
product.
never heard of that.
Yeah,
But
it's
we have
pronounced
to be
seitan.
careful of hmm. We
So
have
I
to be
don't make it
careful
too
of
much.
the we have to be careful of these so-called meatless meats because
Yeah,
what's in them. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I
It's
agree.
better to eat
The plant,
whole food, plant-based.
absolutely.
Whole food. I should have added that. You know, make your salads. Come on, let's go. Let me show y'all something.
I love
It's time to
salads.
show
I
you.
eat my meal every day is a kale salad. Kale salad with chickpeas and
Really?
peppers. That's my one meal. I do one meal a day. That's my one meal. But I am on a
I don't know
fast
if you can see
now.
that. This is quinoa. Can y'all see that? I don't know if you can see that.
I can't see it.
Okay, let me go this way. This is quinoa. I get it at Publix. You have Publix where you are.
Of course.
CK, you see that, hon?
But
I don't know
quinoa is
if
sold
CK
usually at
sees that.
all, you know, major chain stores, and of course Whole Foods, Trader Joe's,
Right,
Kroger's. Yeah, there's this quinoa is
right.
very, you know, quinoa and couscous. Couscous used to be my go-to in
Yeah.
Philly. Quinoa and couscous.
And I want to say to people who wants to negate and say, oh, it's so expensive. I'm not saying get organic. It'll be great to get organic, but you can also go to farmers markets
Mm.
and get food. You can also go to those pantries. They have pantries out there where they have a whole bunch of vegetables that they're donating. They're giving it away.
Yeah,
Get them.
Monica, that
You
was
don't
on
have to get the
earlier. My
garbage. You
sister,
can just
she
get the
runs a center, and they do a weekly drop off. And I mean, the best stuff. You know, we, you know, got, you know, great corns and potatoes and asparagus and
mm-hmm,
cucumbers, zucchinis, that sort of thing. So,
mm-hmm,
you know, I'm
mm-hmm.
definitely a big on foodie, and knowing that diet definitely does improve the quality of life. But it is something that is a commitment. And like you said, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So thank you again, Mama Omonike.
No,
I really appreciated that.
you're welcome. Yep.
Oh, yeah, they have Kroger's in the South. Kroger's are like they're like a Publix. They're like a blend between a Publix and a Whole Foods, actually. Brother Sir Senior asked.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Okay. B. Stephanie wanted to mention also Omonike that she is in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, she's in Jacksonville.
Okay.
So she's a Florida girl as well. Oh, and I also want to mention, Omonike, the Crystal Singing Bowls. Those playlists are amazing.
Which one? What did you say?
The Crystal Singing Bowls. Crystal Singing Bowls.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. For the audio.
I don't have those.
Well, you can plug it in. Them. You can look it up on you can pull out playlists from YouTube, and you can just pipe it into your sound system, and they're incredible. When I would play these at night, the dreams that I would have would be they were too much. I said the dreams were so good I wanted to stay sleeping. That's why I said I wanted to come back in.
That remind me, I said this on CK, you had some broadcasts a while ago, probably last year, and I was saying for those who have problems sleeping, YouTube and Google is your friend. You could put in you can't sleep, and they have a whole list of music with the hertz, sound and vibration and all that, and it can help, and it'll play for like 8 to 12 hours.
Yes.
And they have so many. I mean, YouTube and Google is your friend.
I have one with the African rain. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have one with the African flute, Native American. So that's good. Not only when you sleep, but when you come home, from a rough day, because those who are working, you're dealing with the job and people, and they're bringing their garbage to the job, their emotions, their vibes, and you want to leave it out there, and you want to woosah, and it's up to you to woosah. And if you're a parent, you want to set an example for your children. I always say you can show them better than you can tell them. You see what I'm saying? So
agreed. We love good salad over here. We love a good salad. The kids make salad sandwiches.
Oh,
really? Their dad does that. Everything is a salad, so they put the spinach and they'll have their little like salad dressing, and they put that in between their wheat buns, and they have a salad sandwich. They don't call it.
Have you ever tried arugula? I don't know if you got, she's gone again, but arugula is a type of leafy salad. It has a bitter taste, but I heard it's very good. And it's the same price as any other lettuce. I want to say that regular light green lettuce, it doesn't have a lot of nutrition. Okay, so get the darker green, like the kale, the mixed salads. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the iceberg. That's what it is. The iceberg lettuce is really, they claim it's not that healthy. It's not a lot of nutrition. It's more water. Get the other stuff. Try arugula.
Arugula is amazing. Mescalune, arugula, and basil. My favorite blends. But by itself, kale. Hands down. Kale is, I eat kale every day.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good.
That's my one meal a day. It's a kale salad. I make a tahini dressing.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I want to add something. And again, y'all, I'm a medical technologist. I'm not a doctor. So don't come for me. I'm just saying, you need to eat salads every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it has vitamin. It has vitamin K. The thing with the COVID, it is causing clotting disorders. Okay. So, when they put them on, I forgot the medication, but it's so that people don't clot. They tell them don't take vitamin K, don't eat a bunch of greens. because it does the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's why I'm trying to put out there about
Please,
prevention.
please
But
put
again,
some glowers up.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not
Wow.
giving advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So don't come for me.
Wow.
Yes, write that down, folks.
Yes.
I'm just
And
keeping it
Anthony
real.
Taylor, Mama Max, Anthony Taylor said he had to step away for a moment, but he's sorry he missed your segment, but definitely check it on the playback. She dropped a lot of jewels, a lot of glower moments were definitely
Right.
dropped in her segment. So definitely catch it on the playback, Brother Anthony. So CK, I have two questions.
Okay. I just want to say, please like, share, and subscribe to Omonike, Mama MAXX. Please, thank you
Yes.
very much. I'm
And
about being safe,
Screen Learning
sane,
dropped the
and
link.
healthy.
And
Please.
remember, once we wrap the agenda, you all, I'm going to let the live stay on a couple of minutes so you can go and scroll and catch some links, catch some emails, because we unpacked a lot. Yes, iceberg lettuce is trash, but iceberg slim was the coldest cat. Okay. Our reading hour. Thank you, sir, senior. Our reading hour, we will revisit. Yes, but I'm a big fan of Trick Baby. My favorite book from Iceberg Slim was Trick Baby.
What you know about that?
Let me go to my two questions to Brother CK. Thank you so much again for that presentation regarding. Thank you. Thank you.
She'll be back.
She says Aldi has a lot of options. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And organic foods as well.
Oh, and Aldi? Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Brother CK, I did have a couple of questions that we saw here. People said, what if you don't live around? What if you don't live around someone that you want to build up, that you don't trust them economically, like you don't have those type of neighbors that you trust to kind of pull your money resources with? How can you go about creating that same initiative?
So neighbors wasn't on the list of people. It was family, friends, employment, like people at your job, religion, like people you go to church with. It's people you already interact with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your actual physical neighbors. I mean, it depends on how you'd want to do your friendly society. It'd be ideal if everyone lived in the same community, same neighborhood, but you don't have to.
What group do you think would be most effective to start with? Family or people that you like work with, because you're already kind of in the same business? And I'm asking that also selfishly because I recently just got my insurance broker license reinstated here in Georgia, and of course, a big component of being a part of that type of team is, making other insurance brokers, and so. I'm wondering, just for both sides of that, so a little bit selfish, but also for general speaking, what area or what group would you think would be best to start with? Because, in my experience, in my past, family hasn't really been the best to start with. So I'm kind of starting to revisit what's going to be my approach now that I'm in a new area.
So that's why I mentioned for the number 2 actionable item, get a sheet of paper. And I mean, I'm not trying to belittle anybody, but for number 2, for the actionable item, get a sheet of paper and put a heading of family, friends, religion, work, and business. And then you list down all the family members, friends, people who are part of your religious group, and people you work with or you do business with. And then you go through each one asking them, the question about taking out a loan from them. And then from their answer or how they interact with you determines if you add them to the business column for the friendly society. So you're going through and you're eliminating them because, like you said, Courtney, and you made a good point. Not well, you didn't say this, but not all skin folk are kinfolk. So you want to go through everyone who, so picture yourself standing. I did a thumbnail of this for the yesterday broadcast I did, but picture yourself like standing in an empty space, and then family, friends, people you work with, people you're in a religious organization with, people you interact with YouTube with, have them all around you, and then have arrows from you to them, and just eliminate them one by one. I even though I gave the criteria for people, you can ask for a loan and see how they react to determine if you want to have them a part of your friendly society that you're starting, or if you want to join someone else's. There's other things you can do, such as, go to them and tell them that someone you dated cheated on you and hear what they have to say, or tell them that you just had a medical bill come up and just hear what they have to say. It's just really, and the reason why you're doing the simulation or this test is to see, how did this person really feel about you? Or you can tell them a secret and see how many people who are not them come to you about that same secret. Like, oh, do you want to talk about something? I heard something about you. Even though I didn't include that in the presentation, because that's a little bit my preference on what I do. It's really what you feel comfortable with in creating this friendly society.
Very good points. Definitely. I guess I'm so much bent on I hypotheticals are really hard for me to engage with, but I love that concept of, kind of like surrounding and then separating. It puts things in perspective. You can separate from who's business and who's business, who's about it, and who's basic.
Yeah, because the goal is to have like you already have a family. So the goal is for your family to connect with other families, for you to connect with other people who you can
legacy building at its finest.
Legacy
Absolutely.
building. Yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, and I think you did, I'm sure we covered this a couple of times. You covered it a couple of times on your channel. But brother, CK, what are your thoughts regarding arranged marriages? Just because the family situation came up, I definitely.
So arranged marriage is tricky, in my opinion, because you see it on the movies where two families will be like, okay, you guys are going to get married, take them on dates and stuff, and then one person ends up having an interest outside of what the arrangements is supposed to be. I think ideally arranged marriage is a good idea, but the only way I would think arranged marriage would be realistic is if you already have a friendly society established, and there's so like your child or children are going to school with other children as a part of this friendly society or associated with it, and you can control who they interact with. If you can do that, then I would agree with it. But if you have it to where you have your friendly society in your actual like neighborhood or community, and you're trying to build that, and then your child or children that you want to have arranged in a marriage goes to a public school and they're interacting with people who you don't really want them to interact with, is more than likely they're going to show an interest to them and have some type of relations with them, and that could just hurt what you're building. So I know other countries do it really, really well. Like in India, they do it really well. And countries in the continent of Africa, they do it really well. As far as like here in America, I don't mean to be pessimistic. I just think it's a good thing. It's just, it'll take time to get to that point. So I guess time because
it's a very unpracticed culture here in Western world, modern society. But as you stated, there are plenty of countries in Africa where it's done very well for generations. In India, definitely, kind of made the blueprint for it. and they typically do not have the problems with infidelity. They do not have the problems with, split communities when it comes to baby mama, baby, daddy syndrome, grandparents raising the children. Like, these concepts are very unheard of. I had a couple of Indian constituents when I was in Miami, and they honestly could not understand that had been married and now divorced, and my ex-husband was remarried. They were like, and he has another family? You mean he's not still living with you, but y'all are just divorced? And I'm like, no, that's not the way that works. So it's a very foreign concept, the other side of it. And so I do think you're absolutely right. I think here in America, it's something that could work. It would just take a lot. It would take a lot more effort and interest in doing it to cultivating that mindset. Because again, back to the like-minded people. So I think you also, Anthony Taylor said that he's going to have to go back and listen to screen learning as well. Right. It was a lot of jewels, a lot of glower moments dropped in this entire stream. You all please continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and yield the mic, and I'm going to get set up for our networking session. Again, I'm going to let the live play on a little longer so everyone has opportunity to scroll up, catch some email addresses. I listed Monica's email address as well. It's just Monica DeLancy at hotmail.com. And we're dropping channel links as well. Please make sure that we continue to support the MAXX Media Group, elevating the conversation on YouTube and beyond. So I'm going to go ahead and come on out so I can prepare the music for our send-off. Brother CK, if you would like to add anything in their closing remarks. And then, of course, Omonike, wonderful job today. Thank you so much. Thank you again to all of my panel members, Monica DeLancy, Omonike, Mama MAXX, as well as Brother CK Screen Learning. And thank you all, Globers, for being in the room with us. I'm going to come on out and prepare. If you two would like to do your closing remarks, we'll be closing the State of the Melanated Address. Thank you so much again. A very successful State of the Melanated Address. And look forward to us for next month. If you would like to join MAXX Media Group, make sure you visit groupglowup@gmail.com. Thank you.
Do you want to go first or want me to go first?
I'll go first because you always do good send-offs, and I'm just gonna keep it short. Folks, I know most of us who are listening, we are predominantly of African descent. If you have gained weight, if you are depressed, have hope. It doesn't matter your age. I'm 51. They claim a couple of years ago that I'm diabetic. I am not on medication. Okay? I had my ovaries removed. My fallopian tubes are out. So I do not develop breast cancer since that runs in my family because I have the BRCA2 gene. I'm putting that out there all to say you can take care of yourself. Grab life by the balls. Work on yourself little by little. A little of the nutrition, a little of working out, a little of taking care of your home. So your home will take care of you once you step in and out of that door. Be empowered. That's what I have to say. I release the mic to you, CK.
All right. Thank you, Omonike, Mama MAXX. That was great. Really great presentation. A lot of people are going to be going back based off the comments to rewatch your portion and a couple of the other and everybody else's. So I would say I wouldn't really sweat or stress about a friendly society And what I mean is ultimately you want to focus on yourself, your purpose, and your family, because that's really the main thing that really matters. But in regards to the vein of the friendly society, just know that you have to first change your mindset. Possibly you may have to change your mindset to really attract people who will be a benefit of your friendly society. If you're someone that you don't normally have people come over your home because you don't really trust people, or you don't have anyone that's really intimately involved with you like that, it's going to be very difficult to form a friendly society because you don't have people already in your circle, and that's fine. Just know that a friendly society is not for everyone. We don't really have them here in America. That's more like a European thing, because with them, they're used to having societies with like royal families, high bloods, and different things like that, where they've been working on this for they've been doing that type of thing for centuries. Now we, as melanated people, we can try it. However, due to economic restrictions, due to mindset, due to differences in opinion on a lot of concepts, you may end up having to just settle for business associates or business partners and focus on your own economic advancement. So definitely don't stress out if you're like, I really want this, but I can't find anyone. I'm going to networking events. Don't stress about it. Not everything is for everybody. This is just an idea or a tool for your toolbox of something you can try, especially if you are wanting people to come together to unite for the benefit of helping each other for the lifetime. I mean, if that's what you want, cool. But if you're not able to get it, it's just one of those things that sometimes we have to understand that we may want something, but might not be able to start it until our great grandchildren's generation, just because it takes time to plant the seed and let the tree mature, and then you can take seeds from those fruit from the trees and plant other trees and let them grow to a forest. Sometimes it takes a forest 50 years to grow. Sometimes it takes 200 years. It just depends on the tree. So definitely don't be discouraged. Don't be caught up on the different points that I laid out. I think it's attainable, however, not obtainable for everybody. So that's all I have. So I guess I'm gonna drop back down to the chat. I know Courtney's gonna play music for everybody to network in the chat. So I'm dropping back down.
Thank you so much again, uh, everyone, for coming through, for being a part of this. Thank you again. And let's go ahead and network, exchange our information. Remember, Beyond the Boards is very important to really build, because the time that we're talking just shouldn't be in here. We've got to make sure that we are also speaking to each other and engaging beyond the boards as well. So with that being said, check us for the next Melanated State of the Melanin address. If you would like to be a part of a panel or present an agenda topic, please do email groupglowup@gmail.com. We do have an agenda prep meeting 2 weeks prior, so that we can make sure that our topics are well researched and founded, so that we can present properly. Remember, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And I really believe wholeheartedly that with what's developing, we need to have an agenda to achieve the ultimate success. So closing us out today is none other than the voice, Whitney Houston, with the favorite song of mine. You know, I grew up loving this song by Steve Winwood. So I was introduced to this song by my daughter with the artist Kygo, who put the illustrious voice of Whitney Houston rendition on this favorite song, and it is Higher Love. Again, shalom, peace, enjoy your day, and above all else, y'all know what to do. Glow up.